Welcome back to our Pop Start Plus special, all about nostalgic summer movies. Now, if you're a 90s kid, you'll remember the 1993 release of a movie about a ragtag pack who loved playing ball. And it changed how we think about summer forever. Today, contributor Donna Farizan spoke to two of the stars from The Sandlot, Chauncey Leopardi, who played Squints, and Marty York, who played Yeah. They shared the responses they still get about the movie set during a summer back in 1962.
Was the summer you filmed The Sandlot the best summer of your lives?
It was for sure the best summer of my life.
Yeah.
I don't think anything, compares to it since then. And I think we just had a blast. It was summer camp for like 2 or 3 months that we filmed over the summer, and definitely the best.
Yeah, it was pretty great. It's hard to beat. Obviously, I love my family, and I wouldn't want my wife to think that, my 11-year-old summer was the best summer of my life. But it was pretty awesome, hanging out with friends and having that experience, and then getting to share it with the rest of the world forever. It's just it's a pretty amazing thing.
This film represents the best of summer, the 4th of July celebrations, the carnival, kids playing ball, the s'mores, you name it. There's so many different elements. Why do you think The Sandlot is a film that has defined summertime for a lot of people?
It takes people back to an era of the United States where kids went outside and they played, and when the sun went down, that's when they went home.
I want you to get out into the fresh air and make some friends. Run around, scrape your knees, get dirty.
You had adventures during the day.
It'll be 30 years next year, first of all. How does that feel for you guys?
It's amazing. I mean, anytime you do a film, you never know what the results are going to be. But to still be here talking about this 30 years later, and to see it still affecting people's lives for the better is that's kind of why you're in the arts. It's the reason that you want to do. That's what you set out when you have passion about a project, is to hope that you get one that changes things forevermore. So it's a blessing. And we appreciate all the love and support that we've gotten over the years.
What were your favorite scenes to film for each of your characters?
I loved all of the baseball stuff. Obviously, was a lot of fun. When we played the other team, it was a blast. Filming the whole chase scene, we did that for 2 weeks. So just the dog chasing Benny and all the different stuff. That was a lot of fun as well. I think that there's something to find that was cool about everything. And even in the treehouse stuff, that treehouse was amazing. This is when they really built sets for film still. There was no green screens or anything like that. So that was all real craftsmanship. A carpenter, the construction guys on set actually built those sets. So they were so cool and so in depth, Mr. Myrtle's house. And it was a really cool time in filmmaking because you still had all of the crafts really showcasing their work, whereas now maybe things are a little bit more reliant on computer generated software and stuff like that. So it was a cool time to kind of see them fabricate this really cool film and these really cool sets.
Obviously, my favorite scene was going over the fence to come face to face with the beast and being on that crane. And it's really cool because, back then, kids could do their own stunts, which would never happen nowadays. And just a lot of the stuff that I didn't even see till the final picture came out. The 4th of July scene, we filmed that with just literally lights and gels that they put in front to make it look like fireworks were going off. When we filmed that, it didn't seem that iconic to me until you put Ray Charles to it, until you put the fireworks in the sky. And when we saw the final product, we were like, wow, that really that's an amazing scene. That was just movie magic. God done shed his grace on thee.
What kind of memories do people, tell you that they have that are related to The Sandlot? What do the fans come up to you and say?
Everybody that relates to Squints that has the glasses, or I get a lot of the pictures and the photos. Sometimes as growing up, having glasses is always something that people could be a little reserved about or feel like they get picked on a little bit. So it's cool to have that cool character that people can relate to, that makes them feel like this is a superpower, not the opposite.
How do you think The Sandlot has helped empower young people to feel more included, be more inclusive, and, you know, feel okay to embrace their differences.
It's awesome because this is a bunch of kids of all shapes, colors, and sizes. They're all different. They all have their own little thing. And, you know, the main character is a kid that's filling out a place and coming from somewhere else and really not fitting in. And it starts off with like his struggle of like, you know, trying to connect with his stepfather and trying to connect with these kids in this new neighborhood. And it takes a guy like Benny, who is obviously a very strong character and an amazing baseball player and a total star, to just say, you know, leave him alone. We need an extra guy, and this guy's gonna be it, you know? So it's about including people regardless of, you know, what the masses feel. So I think it has a lot to say about, you know, real American values, because that's what America is. It's a melting pot of different cultures and different people that, you know, find common ground to create a better life for themselves.
Chauncey, you were talking about, you know, Wendy Peppercorn and that pool scene, which is so iconic, when your character almost drowns and then gets saved by the lifeguard that everyone has a crush on. What do you remember from shooting that scene?
God, he looks like a dead fish.
It was really cold. It was a really hot summer, but during the time that we shot the pool scene, it had dipped down into like the 70s, and we were shooting early mornings for the light, and it was freezing cold. So in a lot of those scenes, you can see us like shivering in the pool. I know it was like a big anticipation for me. Leading up to that, I kept asking the director, you know, is today the day? Is today the day? You know what I mean? It was my first kissing scene, so, you know.
Wow.
Pretty exciting.
That is exciting. That's amazing. Just as we talked about earlier too, so much that has happened, or the emotions that are evoked from the Sandlot, translate into real life as well. On the Today Show, Hoda recently interviewed the 3 boys who had saved the dad who became unconscious underwater in their pool. It's an amazing story. They performed CPR on him, saved his life, and they credited learning CPR through watching The Sandlot and through that specific scene.
Now, who took a CPR class? Raise your hand. Nobody? But you did know, because what was one of your favorite movies?
The Sandlot.
What was your reaction to that news?
That's just incredible. You know, like, here we are 30 years later, and something that someone saw that we did 30 years ago saved their father's life. I mean, it makes you want to tear up, because it's such a beautiful thing. And, you know, wherever we get the information from, it's great, you know. So to be the force that helped them do that for their father, you know, I'll never forget it.
Every time I come across a fan of The Sandlot, they always talk about it in a way that, you know, they feel so comforted and cozy when watching it. It brings them back to a different time. Why do you think people feel so comforted when watching The Sandlot?
It's timeless. The way David Mickey Evans, the writer and director, shot it, he told the DP, Tony Richmond, he told him, I want it to look like Kodak chromatic film. So that's like an old, you know, very pop arty type of film from the 60s. And he said, I want it to look like that. And I think because of the setting, had he have done it in the 90s when we shot it and placed it present day, I don't think it would have lasted and stood the test of time. It's like a Bel Air. It's like a 57 Chevy, you know, it's something that the lines on it are going to be clean forever, and no matter what, you're always going to get a nostalgic feeling when you go see these old cars at these car shows, and just a storied time in American history. And because it's just frozen in time, I think that it stands the test of time, because it is a time capsule, like Marty said. It takes you to a happy place where, you know, good or bad, we felt like everything was a little bit simpler.
Thank you to Marty and Chauncey for hanging out with us.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.